What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. Before we start with the video, I just want to remind you guys that if you are watching this video, there's a pretty good chance that you're not even subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and also turn on your notifications so that you didn't miss an upload. And also, if you do enjoy this video and any more NBA related content, be sure to drop a like on this video. It makes a big difference in helping this channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. So now that that's out of the way, today I want to talk about Ben Simmons again. I know I talked about him already, but the situation has escalated in a very ugly way, and it still isn't over. That's the weird part about this. Like, when I made that video a few weeks ago, I thought that by now we'd be talking about Ben Simmons on a new team and how the role would be, but that's not the case. He's technically still a Philly 76er, even though he didn't show up to media day, and he has no intention of showing up to training camp or anything. He has made it very clear, and so has Rich Paul, who is his agent for Clutch Sports. He said basically it's over. Ben Simmons does not want to be on the Sixers. He doesn't want to play for them. He doesn't want to play with any of those guys anymore. He's done. And it's just been a lot of waiting because everyone knows the inevitable, right? Ben Simmons is gone, especially with how explicit he has been with, the whole process, on top of the fact that, Doc Rivers kind of threw him under the bus, and so did his teammates a little bit in that last game after they lost to Atlanta in Game 7. It seemed pretty clear by then that the relationship was basically starting to tear apart. And by now, the fact that we're still talking about it basically a few days before the preseason starts, like the preseason starts on Sunday. Like, we don't even know when Ben Simmons is going to play a basketball game because we don't know when he's going to get traded. It's obvious to all of us, but for some reason, the Sixers are very hard set and they want a very specific amount. They're trying to work things out, which I kind of get, but there's just nothing that's been working for them. Like, I don't know who they've talked to specifically. Like, the rumors have been, Minnesota, and especially with the whole shit show that's been going on with the Timberwolves, their new leadership has been very interested in Ben Simmons too. So we'll see what happens with that. But I just don't know what's going to happen. It's just too hard to predict. Like, if I had to bet money right now, Ben Simmons would be a Minnesota Timberwolf for this season. But we don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Sixers. I don't know what they're asking these teams to get, which, at the end of the day, I kind of understand it because, Ben Simmons is in his mid-20s, and he still has 4 years left on his deal, over 100 and I think it's 120 million, something around that range. Like, it's a hefty contract that whoever trades for him is taking on, and do you want to pay that much for a guy who did honestly tank his stock a little bit after the playoffs? That's going to be the question, and it still seems to be that question, and it's part of why the whole process has just been delayed. Everyone knows this is going to happen, but we're all just sitting there and talking about all this ridiculous stuff because we all know what's going to happen. Like, talking about, Ben Simmons, like, in LA, and then Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Matisse Thybulle tried to get a plane to go to LA to talk to Ben Simmons and try to, convince him to stay. Ben Simmons said, don't even bother getting on the plane. Don't even bother coming to LA. I'm not going to talk to you. It's done. That's, I don't blame Ben Simmons for that. And I think a lot of the whole, who's to blame for the whole situation, do you blame Ben Simmons for his arrogance, or do you blame the Sixers for kind of throwing him under the bus in the way they did? I think it's both. I think I'd lean more towards the organization because they kind of threw him under the bus. And of course, Ben Simmons' poor playing in the playoffs didn't help, but it's just a shit show overall. Like, that's just what it seems to be, right? And then you had media day yesterday with the Sixers, and you had Doc Rivers and it was just the most awkward thing ever. It was so uncomfortable, and it was so obvious. Every single player that went up, I don't remember who exactly, but they had Doc Rivers speak, Thybulle, Embiid, Harris, I think even Tyrese Maxey. They had all these guys talk, and they all were asking the same questions about Ben Simmons, and they all had to sit there very awkwardly say that, oh yeah, we would love to have him back. we think we can win and we think we can do great things with him on the team. Like, it was just so uncomfortable. And you could tell, like, Doc Rivers saying all this strange stuff about how, I never even said anything about getting rid of him. I want him back. I think we can win a championship with him. And it's like, don't you remember the shit you said in Game 7 after the Atlanta loss? Like, you basically were saying, I don't know what to do with him. That's basically what you were admitting. Doc Rivers basically said that, he wasn't worth saving in a way. Like, it was kind of a lost cause. He was not going to do certain things on the court that were going to help this team win. This team had a ceiling that was very stiff. It wasn't going to move with Ben Simmons. But I don't know, man. It was just so awkward hearing Embiid talk about, I want to play with him. We have done great things together, and I think we can win a championship together. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, the whole thing was the process, right? Like, remember the whole process was a thing? And then they drafted Embiid, and then they got Ben Simmons. And it was like, okay, these are the two guys that are going to take this organization to the top. How's that gone? They had one decent run where they were basically 3 bounces from Kawhi Leonard away from going to the conference finals. But even then, Jimmy Butler was part of the reason for that, and he's not there anymore. So it's just been so chaotic, right? And they've had a very high ceiling, but they've never been able to hit it, right? The second round is the best they've done. And, is it worth moving on for the Sixers? I think so, just because it's such an ugly relationship and the way this has all gone is so toxic. But, I'm sure from the Sixers perspective, I kind of understand it. You don't want to trade the second best player on your team, a guy who's entering his prime, per se. You don't want to do that, especially given the amount of money you've offered him, and I don't know, you're not going to get a lot of return. It's not like Ben Simmons is going to bring back another star that's going to help Embiid and put this team towards contention. Like, let's say they trade Ben Simmons to, let's say, like Minnesota or something, right? They're going to get some decent role players and some picks, and that's it. Like, that's not going to help this team in the immediate future, right? It's not going to put this team in title contention, even with Embiid. Like, they're going to be stuck. And that's unfortunate, but that's just kind of how this stuff works, right? Like, there's some people who get mad at players who kind of force their hand on certain things. Like, people are saying that, if Ben Simmons can just force his way out of, Philly with the contract that he has after signing the extension, then who's to say that anyone can do it? And I'm like, you know what? That's not the worst thing in the world given the situation. I think that's what it is, right? Like, people are talking about the whole Zion thing and how Zion's basically kind of upset with New Orleans, but I think that's kind of bullshit. But, people are saying that, hey, what if Zion signs up the contract extension next season and then a year into it, he's like, I want out. Take me away from New Orleans. I want to go to New York or some shit. I don't know. It's too early to say anything like that. So I don't think it's worth getting mad at Ben Simmons for forcing his way out. If he wants out, he's going to want out. And the Sixers are going to have no choice but to trade him. Obviously, they are going to have to do it somehow. They can't just keep talking to teams and demanding unreasonable things, because it just makes the situation uglier. Prolonging the situation is making it worse. It's very clear. It's just all ugly. Ben Simmons is very clear about him not showing up to Philly at all. He doesn't even want to face the fans. He doesn't even want to be in the city. Which, I mean, look, Philly fans are crazy, right? But, he's not going to want to face them. And then Doc Rivers and all these guys saying that, hey, you can't blame him. It's just business. Like, the whole thing is just so awkward, uncomfortable, toxic. Like, it's all of those things. And the biggest thing I think that we can all agree with, regardless of where you stand on it, is just end it. Just fucking trade him. Get him somewhere. I don't know where the talks are in terms of these deals. The Sixers are talking, but clearly nothing has worked out. I don't know what you do. Just accept the fact that you're not going to get a lot back. Just accept the fact that this team is going to take a step back and just move on from Ben Simmons. Just do it. Trade him and move forward. Because this dark cloud that's hanging over this organization if it continues any longer, it's going to have such a negative effect on this team. You know, even like if they don't trade him by the start of the regular season, how do you think these guys are going to play properly, knowing that there's this big thing hanging over their heads, right? Because the media is going to talk about it. It's going to be constantly brought up to these players again and again. You know, I don't know what you can ask for them. So just move on, man. That's just the whole thing. Like, just move on, get over with it, and just, you know, move forward. I just hope that they get it done sooner than later, because honestly, I'm kind of tired of hearing these reports come out every like 2 days that, oh, he's expressed his frustration, or a quote from Doc Rivers that makes no sense, or players having to be in these uncomfortable situations where they want to talk about the team, but then they also want to stand up for their guy. Like, it's just all a mess. That's all it is. It's a mess. The longer it goes, the more it's going to hurt this organization and this team. So just take the Band-Aid off and move forward. That's basically all you can do at this point. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, this thing is weird, man. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before, but you know, that's the league we're in now, and we'll see where it goes. I just hope that it's over soon. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this rant. If you enjoyed it, I guess leave a like, and also comment down below your thoughts on this situation. Where should he go? Is he in the wrong? Is the organization wrong? Like, kind of just, you know, I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts on this is, so comment it down below. And if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for more NBA content like this. The season's starting soon, so that's obviously exciting. I have a lot of exciting content planned for you guys, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys as always for your continuous support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.